This video demonstrates how you can monitor and control task progress in Synchro PRO. In this example, we will only be looking at one task with a duration of 10 days and the data date set around halfway through the task. We will start by keeping all the task properties set to their default values, and this includes the duration type to be fixed and the progress to be set to automatic. Now let's set the status of our task to start it. To do this, right-click, Progress, Start Task. If you keep the default values, Synchro will assume that the task is progressing as planned. This means that our task would be 40% complete and the remaining duration would be 6 days. Let's click on Cancel, push the data date forward 1 day, and then restatus the task as started, but this time from the monitoring section of the Task Properties tab. Now you'll notice that Synchro's suggested values have changed to reflect the change in the data date. Before clicking on OK, let's change the percent complete from 50 to 40. This means that we're 1 day behind the planned schedule. Synchro will automatically generate a progress report assigned to this task indicating that there's a delay. In this case, the delay duration is 1 day, which is 10% of the planned duration. Let's hit undo and repeat the same process. This time, rather than changing the percent complete, let's try changing the remaining duration to 2 days. This means that we would be ahead of schedule. You will notice that the duration of the task has changed and that a new progress report has been generated, indicating that there's a 30% advance, which is equal to 3 days. You will also notice that some new colors have been added to the bar chart. We'll get back to this in a bit. But first, let's push the project data date 1 more day forward, and then look at the monitoring section in the Task Properties tab. You will notice that the remaining duration and percent complete have been automatically updated to show that 1 day of work has been completed. If we reset the remaining duration back to 2 days, the percent complete will go back to 80 and a new progress report will be generated. Basically, a new progress report is generated each time the updated progress does not go exactly as planned. Now let's look at the new colors found in the Gantt chart. These colors follow the same color scheme set in the Task Statuses section of the Navigator tab. The thin green bar shows the task as planned, and the thick gray bar shows the task as started with the predicted duration. Now let's undo all of our work and see what happens when we change the progress type from automatic to manual. After you start the task, you will notice that the percent complete and remaining duration have become totally independent. For example, we can set the remaining duration to be 10 days and the percent complete to be 80%. This can happen, for example, when 80% of the material for a task has been installed, but a blocking issue such as a delayed shipment will delay the remaining 20% by 10 days. Let's undo all of our work again and now try changing the progress type from manual to duration. In this progress method, Synchro will only use the remaining duration to calculate the progress of the task. Let's set the remaining duration to 4 days and then hit reschedule to update the dates in the Gantt chart. The percent complete and remaining duration are still directly linked, and you can still change any of these values to update the other in the monitoring tab, but this will not generate a progress report. Let's undo all of our work again and now change the progress type from duration to physical. For this example, it makes more sense to also change the duration type from fixed to physical quantity dependent. And let's set that physical quantity to 10 cubic feet, for example. You'll notice that the remaining physical quantity and actual quantity values are grayed out and cannot be edited because the task has not started yet. Let's go ahead and set the status of the task as started. Now we'll have to set the actual and remaining physical quantities and then hit reschedule to compute the percent complete. Note that in this case, actual means the actual completed physical quantity and not the total actual physical quantity. You might have also noticed that the duration of the task is not changing even when we're increasing or decreasing the total number of units for the physical quantities. To change that, we can create a task rule and then use it to directly link the physical quantities to the total task duration. Let's go to the Rules tab and create a new task rule with a rate of 5 cubic feet per hour. Now we can go back to the Gantt chart, select our task, and assign the newly created task rule in the Physical Quantities section. You will quickly notice that the duration has been updated based on the physical quantity and the task rule. Synchro will now use the total number of remaining and actual physical quantities to update the task duration. Let's undo all of our work again and now try changing the progress mode to unit. To use this progress mode, we have to have at least one human or equipment resource assigned to the task. This resource may or may not have 3D geometry associated to it. Let's just create a new equipment resource and call it EQ. Then let's assign this resource to our task. We can then find this resource in the Resources section of the Task Properties tab, and then set planned utilization rates or switch to fixed units and set the total number of units. Let's switch to fixed units. Let's keep the total number of units at 10 and then set the task to started. Now we can go back to the Resources section of the Task Properties tab and change the total unit values for the actual and remaining utilizations to calculate the percent complete. Note that we may or may not end up with different values for the actual versus planned total unit values. Also note that the task duration estimate does not change because we haven't set up a rule to link the resource units to the task duration. We can do that though, just like we did for the physical quantities. Also note that so far we've been assuming that the resources will be linearly utilized throughout the task. However, Synchro can do the same calculations using different types of utilization curves to account for things such as mobilization at the beginning of the task, at the end of the task, or both.